All right, ebusuafo for your mama kwaba eba GH Politics Avenue. Ahana hope all the trending political stories in Ghana unsa bitumi akano. Na the story e di bremu e da musonko eye enche bia 31st of January bosumi ya ewumia na MPP for be yom franka tuni for 2028 election. Na we na eye nipa 5 na ejina Dr. Bawumia Kennedy ohine Japo engineer kwabena Japo ya ose adwuma na Dr. Brian Champo eni ekugina na yimba ko etu franka ama MPP na we na chairman Wontumi emra Dr. Bawumia ko Ashanti region a ko Embǎrrǎssěd adwumase constituency a wo ye ne campaign na chairman Wontumi ko mount to stage eye campaign ma na we na ebae backlash amanfo a backlash esi na wanfo ka say na Dr. Bawumia de na wayi obi a ye abo no ko adu a odina quarter indi nansem we about environmental destruction say ya maniska bi wa anya adwuma no corruption eni se wo say yen sa asenya de adu obi odina ko adu aye bo no obi odina court a ye bo no sa ko adu we die umani be gina campaign platform so ye campaign ma o say eni by the Dr. Bawumia manfo bo na ti papa me enkuti videos ni bi amanfo bo Dr. Bawumia chi wa bra o ma chairman Wontumi ko mani ye campaign or the campaign platform so in Ashanti region specifically Embǎrrǎssěd adwumase constituency high GH Politics Avenue open all the trending political stories in Ghana.
Caning on your own strength and your own credibility and your own integrity for another person or vouching for that person, especially when he raises issues about what concerns the people of this country: environmental sanity, public trust, accountability, and somebody is facing trial on these charges that relate to these things. It makes his argument get a moral persuasion, as I've alluded to earlier. But the other side of it is that, as he admits, a person is presumed innocent under our laws until proven guilty. So the challenge now is that, what if these charges would all fail, which is a possibility, but we are not there yet. And if you take the other side to say that, okay, well, what if they succeed? And so you are left with those probability of conclusions that we are not yet certain about. But by and large, what I would say is that because of the waned public trust in our political conversations, it is very important that if you are seeking the high office of President of the Republic of our country, you are minded the people you associate with and the people who share your platform. That's what I would say.
Okay, Lom, I'll bring you in, but I just want to show people the video, what triggered the professor's comments. And when I come back to you, maybe you can start from where he says that first, it normalizes impunity. The public is taught slowly and repeatedly that charges do not matter. Accountability can wait. Political usefulness is more important than public trust. This is what he thinks this video that I'm just about to show our viewers will amount to. Take a look.
Eti say Wontumi ne ya pedia. Anya se madam funi wei. Anya se mini wei ne wokuo. Anya se wei na ya tenten. Anya se wei na mepe na asem. Na emom de ya de ne ko a obetimi age tumi na maye no. Mepoacha constituency executive say ahwan Council of Elders mepoacha wan ya de ne ko election 2028 obewene. Coordinators mepoacha wan ya mfa ne ko election 2028. Police station. I want you for the call election 2028. I want you for the call. Mesdames et Kassani Bawiya no mutie. Enipa numu no a omo petumi ni nyina no omo nyina ya MPP fo omo nyina no ko omo ye na so ba ko pa eno Onyankopon ayi ni sai awoso ye flag bearer ye free ha kopa ebi bi ba besi a kire mesramo Ashanti region as Ashanti regional chairman, Adiaba Akuffo na Mesramo, Mumma yen speaking one voice. Let's use our votes to speak one voice. Let's direct ourselves and vote for Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. He's our future. He's the future of Ghana. So we are going to vote massively for Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. May God bless you all. I love you. I love you all. I love you all. I love you all. We love
But at least he says he loves all of you. He said that. That makes me feel better. But Lom, so you've seen the video.
Yes.
Well, how do you feel about Prof's comments and particularly what he thinks can do to people?
I think it's something that I think carries some weight. The reason is simple. First of all, we've already acknowledged that it is not a legal limitation. So we are not saying that because somebody is being tried, automatically we are presuming the guilt of the person, for which reason the person is barred from doing many things. But we know for a fact that politics is about the optics. And the optics matter because it has an impact on how people in the country generally will perceive things. So when he talks about impunity, I can see the reason why he will put it that way, because essentially it creates the impression that until the conviction comes, nothing has happened. Let's take it this way. I think my brother Kabila made a point earlier. Should he, for example, have resigned from his position as a regional chairman because of these charges? Well, perhaps in Ghana that has not been the culture, but in many other places, that is what happens. When you resign, it does not mean that you are accepting your guilt. It just means that you don't want to put a certain cloud of negativity around your office or position. So when he talks about impunity, it comes in the same light, in the sense that it is about the impression. I can't recall any time in recent history where, for example, somebody has been accused of a crime and the party has done its own assessment, for example, to review the information that has been put out to say, we are ready to support you, but please take a step aside. Nobody has done that. None of the parties, to the best of my knowledge. When it happens this way, what it means is that the impression being created is that no matter what, the party will support you. And we've seen this many times. For example, in the last year, many times when people are being accused of one offense or the other, we see party faithful troops to the location. They basically, expressing their views that the thing is wrongfully being charged, the person is wrongfully being charged and so on. But the truth is that all of these things are based on the fact that the parties do not take a step back to actually say, let's review the facts that have been put out so far. Which means that in Ghana, every political case has been reduced to NDC MPP. It has been reduced to, because I'm not from this party, that's why I'm being tried. It has been reduced to, there's no basis for the charges. I'm only being tried because it's not my party in power. And guess what? All these kinds of views have been expressed over the years, and because of them, you see that people don't have belief or trust in the public system or the judiciary and so on, because there's a certain fear that nobody will try somebody from their own party. They are likely to only be tried when their party is out of power. So it has become a political game. And that's why
Is there a certain amount of truth in that? That nobody would like to try a person from their political party?
We should try members of political parties because it should be about the rule of law. Yeah. And I guess that's why other conversations have come about in terms of how we select the special prosecutor, how we decouple the Attorney General's office from other offices and so on. But bottom line, in many other jurisdictions, these things still happen. Why does it happen? Even in other countries where members of the same party in office have been found to have breached one rule or the other, there have been trials and convictions. So what is different in Ghana? And that is what I think is at the heart of what Professor Azar is saying. He's saying it's about values. If you have the right values, when somebody has been accused of an offense or crime, you should, for sanctity, let the person step aside. There are thousands and millions of people in the MPP. If Chairman Wontumi doesn't mount that podium, nothing happens. There are many other people in the party.
That's a stronghold for the NPP, the Ashanti region.
Exactly. So it is true. That's what I'm saying, that it's about the optics. You are sending a certain signal that you are supporting him no matter what. When you start this way, what will likely happen and here I'm just thinking ahead, is that even when he's convicted, the party is still likely to still support him and claim that he's been wrongfully even convicted. And we've heard this many, many times in the past, where even when the conviction as it comes through eventually, there's still a certain sense of, okay, we are not accepting the verdict. In our view, the person didn't do it, but the courts are being manipulated and so on, which means that we are sending a signal out there that there's no confidence in public institutions and so on. And I'm saying, yes, he may be the chairman of the party in that region, but if he doesn't mount that podium, he spoke for just a few minutes. There are many people who could make the same arguments. He could take the time to clear his name, and he can have all the platforms and podiums that are available to him. So I think that Professor Azar's call is in the right direction. It's not about legality. It's about the optics, and it's about values. And that's why, as I said, in other places, they even go to the extent of even resignation. It's about values. They are not saying they are guilty. They are simply making the point that I don't want to tarnish the office that I'm holding. You are a regional chairman. That's the highest position in a particular region for the party. Every day you go to court, whilst you are being tried, your name is mentioned, the party's name is mentioned, and there's a certain cloud hovering over you and the party that because of something that you allegedly did, the party's name is being brought into disrepute. When you step aside, then that conversation focuses on you and everything you are doing to clear your name. So for me, in that regard, Professor Azar's call is good, and not only in the case of Chairman Wontumi, but across the political divide, even when it has to do with a member of the sitting government currently. I think that we should look at ways in which we can isolate and protect the image that goes with a particular office.
Victoria Bright is a lawyer and an entrepreneur. She's joined us. Vicky, did you have a good weekend?
I did. Yes.
Okay. So Lom thinks that Professor Azar's call is in the right direction. Doc doesn't seem to want to stay far away from that assertion as well. But do you think Prof is picking and choosing? Doc, you don't seem to be far away from it. Neither are you hammering on it that it is the right call.
I took a balanced view of it because I felt that, and I think that's essentially what Lom is saying. But I think my point was made. So
quite clear, yes. Do you think that Prof is picking and choosing? I can't, on top of my mind, think about who was being investigated in a particular political party and then still joined a campaign trail and went out to, campaign for their party. I can't, on top of my mind, think. But do you think why did he have to start this conversation from here?
Because I guess he feels that it's a dangerous trajectory. Whether it's the first or someone has done it before, whatever, is really immaterial. The issue with individuals facing criminal charges is not really about guilt or innocence at this stage, because we don't know either way. But I think it's really about the message that is sent when accused persons are literally center stage or looming large in these political campaigns. And I think what Prof is doing is trying to draw a clear line between legality and legitimacy. Because yes, it is true that an accused person is presumed innocent in law. But then when you see politicians actively campaigning with individuals who are facing serious criminal charges, I don't think it sends the right signal to the public. And I think ultimately it can weaken public confidence in our judicial system, our justice system. Because what is lawful is not always legitimate to do. It's about values, it's about ethics. And I think leadership must know the difference, between what is lawful and what is legitimate. So I think his warning is very simple, that our democracy here in Ghana must demand a higher ethical standard than the bare minimum that is required by law. So I think that's the message he's trying to. So to me, legality is the floor. That's the starting point. And I think what he's saying is that leadership should aim higher than that. Because what is lawful in court can still end up being corrosive to public trust in our politics. So I think, so yes, all in all, I think it's the right thing to say.
But given that these things are perceptions, we're discussing what it can amount to in our minds. If he also takes a step back, for example, the campaign trail that's happening in the Ashanti region, and we don't see Chairman Wontumi, what would that perception also do to the party and to him?
That perception should be, like in other jurisdictions. I know in some of the, I don't really like using developed and developing and all those derogatory things, but the more advanced, let me put it that way, countries, things like that, you are set aside until, you are told to step aside rather, until the matter is cleared. It's not a presumption of innocence, it's not a presumption of guilt. And I think the legal position is very clear to everyone. So all that it should signal is that, well, there's an investigation going on, and until the investigation is completed, it is better if we just allow him to focus on the investigation rather than be following a particular political leader or any one of them around. So I don't think it's a bad thing to do. And, as Norm was saying, it also, it sends the wrong signal that, yes, this is a political witch hunt, etc., etc. And even if the person ends up being guilty, if they are innocent, fine. If they end up being guilty, you still have that question mark as to whether they're guilty because it was a political witch hunt, quote unquote, or they are actually guilty of the crimes of which they have been accused.
Okay. Doug, you're noting a few things. You have a few rebuttals.
Not rebuttals, but I want us to see this matter as a bit more complicated than our friend Akuffo is making it look. There is Wontumi, who is not just joining politics after he has been charged for certain offenses. He is already a political actor. He's already there. So it is in the business side of his being that he's facing this. And that's why I raised the question that if you look at the post critically, which I don't fault him for raising because it's a question about the conversation around our public trust. Should or ought Wontumi have resigned as chairman of the New Patriotic Party in Ashanti region? That question, I flagged it because at the heart of it is, can you take a backstage? Can you, as Long was saying, spare the party from going through the personal crisis that you are having? Now, I don't want you to say tarnish, but you are facing a question. It is a personal question, a business question. Can you free the party of it by relieving yourself of any attachment so that you can face it and then not bring the party into, sharing in that? That is the question, And then on the other side, what I'm saying is that since this man is there already, he's already on the political platform and has this other side of his being the business side, and he is presumed to be innocent until proven guilty. Now, you say that, well, go off it. Yes, the optics that we're all talking about here. The moment you take that stage or that position, the presumption also comes that, he's admitting some wrong. And it is not, as Vicky was saying, it's not limited to the global south. They say, we have an ex-convict sitting as the president of the United States of America, convicted of 34 felony, charges. in the United States of America. I mean, somebody should have advised him not to even put himself up. Or in Ghana by Ghanaian law, he could not even have qualified to contest. And that's why I say that we are not, our system is not worse off compared to theirs. We would not even allow him. But he is sitting in the White House as president of the United States. So it's a human thing. And it is a bit delicate than making it look like if the person doesn't mount the platform, it sorts out what our friend Kwakwazan is saying. The ultimate responsibility, I have said, rests with the candidate. If I were the candidate in this question, maybe I would not allow the person to take the center stage maybe he's taking. And we are different. Perhaps he brings a certain advantage to the ticket that the candidate deems right. And he's exploiting it. Now, overall,
yeah.
for me, the issue of public trust in our judiciary has to do with how the judiciary conduct itself and the narrative we put on it. When we stop talking that a particular trial went on because a certain president influenced in a certain way.
Who are the we?
We, as Ghanaians.
Okay.
And I'm putting myself inclusive. Commentaries that we make. And then we turn around when the tables turn. We are saying things differently. Those are the kinds of narratives that wane or destroy public confidence. But bottom line, as a people, how sincere are we with the things that we say and the things that we are expected to do? No matter how bad or weak our constitution may or might be, how faithful are we to it? That, for me, is a fundamental question.
So, do you see the thing that Doug is advancing, what he says? I mean, what is different from, why are we so special from a country like the US?
Well, first of all, I think Doc alluded to that point. We have to start off with what the law of the country is. So perhaps in the
Ghana Politics 7 open all the trending podcast stories in Ghana. Na onsa ebeka no. Na eneni dedika ba channel your best so edika you best subscribe to channel no subscribe you na notification bell na doma na ono sabos. Say be video we video of be en sakanya de brama. Wonsu benya ne intentem na wadumadumu djuma. Na video we at madaru my best so obe like no share na afoforo so nya bi na comment section o me hu adwen chefa video ya bo ache o me hu de odwen efa video abo ache ni na ye nto ato adwen ni mbo Ghana manose edamu nyina masese majibre na mdeti ya Ghana Point 7 edamu nyina masakra mu na mumba ba